Good morning, good morning. I hope that everyone is doing amazing today. We are doing our Mother's Day project this morning. So I hope that you guys will all join me. We're going to need a few different things this morning other than what we normally do. So I'm just inviting people to the live really quickly before we get going, so everybody knows I'm here. Because I know that a lot of you guys have been requesting this Mother's Day project, so I want to make sure everybody knows that we are doing it this morning. I've been announcing it all week, but just in case, I want to make sure we let everybody know. Let's see, who else? I think that's good. Hey Talia, how are you? How is it going this morning? Hi, Dahab, Cricket, welcome in, Chesapeake Watercolors. We're going to be doing a specific, yes, it's raining again. Should I have my mic on? You think it's too loud? Because I don't have my, noise cancellation mic on, but if it's too loud, I can put it on. Y'all let me know if it is. Hey, Rhonda. It's actually starting to clear up. It was a really bad storm this morning. Like so loud on my tin roof in my house that it woke me up. It was really loud. It sounded like the flood all over again. It sounded like we were going to just float away, but it's kind of cleared up now and it's looking like the sky's kind of clearing, but I have this tin roof and I have trees over the roof, and so the water is still dripping off the trees, so that's what you hear. Oh, excuse me, goodness. But hopefully it'll wash away some of this stuff that's causing my allergies. So you would think I've lived in Texas my entire life, so you would think that I would be used to everything here and I wouldn't have allergies anymore, but that is not the case. So how is everyone this morning? We're going to be doing a Mother's Day project. So this is the project we're going to be doing. We're going to be painting on a hymnal page this morning for Mother's Day. Now, nope, Rhonda, I did this by myself practicing, but we're going to do it today. We're going to do it here on this. So this is today's project right here. I'm going to put it up here so that you guys can see it. That is what we're going to be doing today. Doesn't it look beautiful? I mean, the lettering is terrible, but I was not really worried about the lettering. I was just kind of practicing the church so that I knew, I could teach you guys how to do it because I had never done one before. So I wanted to just make sure that I could do it. And I think it looks beautiful. I think the one thing that I would do differently is not draw it first and maybe just paint it directly onto the page without drawing it. But if I don't draw it, then I'm not sure where things need to go, and so that makes it hard. Talia, I got mine at a resale shop. I think it was a Goodwill actually that I got mine. See, I got it for $1 at a resale shop, and it was from the Zion Baptist Church Library in Skippers, Virginia. Is where this one came from. And oh my gosh, this is one of my favorite hymns right here, Standing on the Promises. I love this song. Love it. So, but you could do anything. You could get a book out of a dictionary. You could pull just any old book, page, anything like that. And pull a page. If you were closer to me, you could have one of the pages out of mine. I have torn many a page out of this hymnal to do projects. And one of the things that I've learned about these old hymnals is that they are sewn together like signatures. See, they're not stapled like current books are. So when you tear them out, these you have to tear them out in pages of 2. So you have to do it like this, and then do it sideways, like pull it to the side as you tear it out. Because if you try to do it like this, it doesn't work. So if you're trying to pull it like this, it will not. You see what that's doing with that string? It's just pulling on it. But if you tear it like this, sideways, then it comes out much easier. But again, you do have to, pull pretty hard, and you have to do 2 pages at a time, because that's the way that they're sewn in. And then you can tear them apart from there. So, let's see. You didn't want the stained glass. Sailor Mouse Studio, isn't it? It's going to be so fun. Page 54. Let's see what page 54 is. Let's see. God of our fathers, whose almighty hand. That's page 54. That's a good one too. I was raised on Baptist hymns, so. The stained glass, you mean in the church, making a stained glass? That would be pretty. This one just had a door. I was trying to make it very simple, because I want this to be kind of a minimal project. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to put it in a picture frame, but I want to put it in one of those see-through frames where you can see all the way through it, and so it's glass all around it, and it's just kind of sitting in the middle like it's floating, like a floating frame. So I wanted it to be fairly minimalistic, but you definitely could do a really pretty like stained glass window in it. Would be beautiful if you wanted to, for sure. That would be so pretty. All right, so this is, hi, Broken Butterfly, how are you? We are going to be doing a hymnal project today. Okay, so this is, again, one of the, this was the page that I had to tear out to get this out, because these were the 2. And this one is Jesus, thy boundless love to me, and oh God, our help in ages past. So, but we're going to be using the My Jesus, I Love Thee. And the reason I'm going to use that one is because the quote on it is going to be, let me tell you about my Jesus. And so I wanted a song that had Jesus in the title, or my Jesus in the title. So that's the reason that this is the one I'm picking. Now, I don't really have a plan for this. I did this as a practice just to kind of see what it was going to, entail as far as supplies. And so here is what I want to tell you that you're going to need, okay? You're going to need some watercolors. I'm going to be using the Meeden watercolors. You are going to need, I'm going to put my watercolors down here. You're going to need either some oil pastels or some acrylic paint markers or paint pens. I mean, you can use anything. I used oil pastels for the flowers, and I used acrylic paint pens for the stems of the flowers. I used oil pastels for the greenery, and I used oil pastels for the roof right here to kind of get that gray blue color on there. The rest of this was mainly, well, no, I used the white oil pastels for the church too. This is watercolor. And then I used black pencil for all the shadowing and stuff. So you're going to need basically some, whatever you want to use to get this look. You can, whatever supplies you have. Tweety Bird, I got mine at Goodwill. I was just showing everybody. I've had this for a long time, but I got mine at Goodwill for $1. And it was the property of the Zion Baptist Church Library in Skippers, Virginia. Ukulele Man, Can You Play Dreams by Aaron Lewinter. I just released it. Let me know what you think. Oh, okay. Is it on Spotify? Because that's what I'm on. Let me see. Let's see what we got. Let me see if I can find it. Here we are. Is it clean? Oh, yeah, okay. Cool. We'll play it. I'm all about it. All right. So Tweety Bird, I got mine. Sorry, I was in the middle of talking. I lost my train of thought. So I got mine at Goodwill for $1. So that's where I got mine. You can get these at resale shops, antique stores. I mean, honestly, they're pretty common to find in all those places. So, and I just pull out, and I was just showing everybody, you have to pull them out because these old hymnals were sewn together. So when you take pages out of them, you can't just take one page out. You have to do it in sets of 2 because that is how they are sewn in. So I always have to tear out 2 pages when I'm doing a page out of the hymnal. So. Okay. All right. So that's what we're going to be doing. And we are going to be using the Meeden watercolor palette. I'm using the 96 count palette, but you can also use the 48 color. You can use whatever watercolor palette you have. It doesn't matter as long as you have some. All right. So we're going to do... Carrie, I know everybody gets upset that I tear into a hymnal, but you know what? This hymnal was sitting in a Goodwill and it was going to go to waste. So I am using pages out of a hymnal and I'm creating art so that people can use it, love it, and see it. And this is actually a Mother's Day project that I'm doing for Mom. And oh, hymnal. Yep. Hymnal in the garden. That's right. Yep. I love it, Sherry. So I hate that you know, I know that people see that, but I feel like it would have gone in the trash, and so I'm using it. So I'm restoring it and using it so that people can enjoy the pages out of it. So, so we're going to be using My Jesus, I Love Thee, because I want to do Let Me Tell You About My Jesus in the text, and I want to do the church on this side. So, and then I'm going to put it in one of those floating frames. So I want it to go in the center of a frame with glass all around it and see-through. So there's glass on both sides. It doesn't have a back to it. So that's how I want to do that. So, yep, if they don't sell it at Goodwill, it goes to the dump and then it gets burned. That's right. So at least people are going to get to see these. And I always warn people before I tear it out. I'm like, I know this is going to upset some people, but honestly, you know, the thing that I wouldn't do is I wouldn't tear up a Bible. That's the one thing I wouldn't do. I wouldn't do that. However, I will do a hymnal. A Bible I would give to someone who needed it. So, but I mean, you know, I have an art Bible and I do art in my art Bible. So there's that. That upsets people too sometimes. So yes, I know, right, Sherry? I love, love, love them. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. I'm going to follow you back. Thanks so much. I appreciate it. All right, so we're going to do the church today. So here's how we're going to start this off. You're going to need some watercolors. You're going to need probably some acrylic markers or some oil pastels. I'll be using the Meeden oil pastels. And honestly, I don't even know if those are in stock at this point. So I might not even be able to pin those for you guys. I don't see them in my list, which means that they probably are out of stock. But let me just look. Because, oh, they are. They're right here. I just didn't have them pinned. Oh, no, they're not. They're not available right now. Let's see. These are, though. All right, I will put them. So they're in the shopping cart below. They're product number 1. I'll be using the oil pastels, the Meeden brushes. Remember, you don't have to have the same supplies as me. I'm just telling you what I'm using so you guys know. So we'll be using the Meeden brushes, and I will probably use the Meeden, no, the, I think these are the Arctics brand. I can't remember. Acrylic markers. And then I will be using the Color colored pencils. So all those are down below if you guys want to look at them. Okay. So let's get going on this project. I know I told you guys a couple days in advance that we were going to be doing this because we're taking a break from our fruit series right now, and doing this project for Mother's Day. So our fruit series is what we've been doing on my lives. And so we did the orange, the watermelon. Last night we did the cherries, or yesterday. The pineapple, strawberry, and the blueberry. So we have a peach that we're going to do, and then we'll be done with this series. So we'll be doing the peach tomorrow. But for now, we're going to do this project because I want to have this. Everybody's been wanting to do something for Mother's Day. So this is the project we're going to do for that today. So we're just going to take a break from our fruit series just for today. So I'm going to put you guys on the overhead so you guys can see kind of what I'm doing. And we will get moving on this. Now, this is obviously, this was my practice. And it's probably not going to look like this when we get finished. Nothing ever turns out the same. So just so you know, this was just a practice one. But that's kind of what we're working towards, is we're going to do this little church here. And you can look on the P site where you can see all kinds of different projects. Rhymes with interest. And you can get all kinds of inspirations for these. And you just type in Hymnal page crafts, and you will see all kinds of these. We are going to do, I'm trying to find one that's got a good church drawing, because I don't want to do the same church. And I think I'm going to do this one. So let me show you guys kind of the one that I'm looking at. So it's a little bit different. It's got the 2 windows on the sides and the door in the front. Either that one or maybe, let's see, this one's a good one. That one's really pretty. This one looks fairly simple. I want to do something that's not too difficult. This one looks kind of easy because we can just do kind of the shadows to create it. What do you guys think? What do you guys think if I wanted to, which is even easier? Whoops. Sorry, it's not loading now. Hang on. There it is. That's pretty simple too. So you can just know that you can find all kinds of inspiration to do these projects on here. You just scroll and there's just a ton of different projects. There's one. that you could do for like Christmas time. Here's one that's got, you know, butterflies and flowers on it. So all kinds of them are there. So feel free to, you know, just kind of scroll and find some inspiration for what you want to do for your particular one. And then we will, let me see, I'm going to have to find mine that I saved so that I know what I'm doing. So this one right here, just so you guys know, I used this as my inspiration picture. So you can see it's not the same, obviously. But that's what, you know, I kind of just use that as a guide. And honestly, I really like that church. So maybe I will do that one. I don't know. What do you guys think? I think I'll do that. All right. So here's how we're going to do it. We're going to take a pencil. And we're going to kind of sketch out what we want. Okay. I'm going to sketch it very lightly. But we're going to sketch it nonetheless. We're going to have a steeple, which is just going to go up to a point and back down. Okay, so we're going to have our steeple, and I want that to be kind of skinny. And then under that, have our section, like the bell tower section right here. Okay. Then in that bell tower section, we will have the tip of the front of our church. So you're going to come up just above where these sections end, and you're going to start the roof of the front of your church. I'm going to bring those down. And then you will have the front section where the door is underneath that. The door has a point and comes straight down. Just like that. Okay, so that's kind of our guide that we have. This is not straight. There we go. I don't know why I kind of leaned on these a little bit. All right. Now from here, we're going to go, these come all the way down to touch the roof. And then we're going to go across. With our roof here. What am I doing wrong here? That needs to come down. Sorry guys, I'm just making sure I have this proportioned correctly. So this has to hit this, and then the roof comes here. Out. Okay. Now, when that roof comes out, it's going to kind of veer horizontally over like this. And that comes all the way over like this. Okay. And then we bring it in slightly from the corner of the roof and down. Okay. And then this side we're just doing with, we're just kind of sketching it like it fades out. So we don't even have to draw that side. We do want this side right here, this section here to have a double line like it has a trim on it. And then we're going to pull that. And this goes in like this. Okay? All right. So that's given us our guide. Now, what we're going to do, now this is not watercolor paper, guys, okay? And because, Shelly, thank you for the follow. Because it is not watercolor paper, you are not going to get the kind of blends and stuff that we get when we're doing our normal watercolor. All right, so don't expect that. You're not going to get it. It's going to absorb it and be done. So just know that when you start, you're not going to have working time. You're not going to have blending time. You're not going to have any of that stuff with this kind of paper. Okay. So we're not going to be doing a lot of the watercolor techniques that you would do on watercolor paper. All we're doing is we are putting the color down, and you want to go lighter to start, and then you can add color in. You're not going to be able to pick color up from this kind of paper like you do with normal watercolor paper. So just know that up front, okay? And we are going to start by putting some gray on here. Okay, so we're going to use our gray, and we're going to just go in with that gray and with a very light. So you want to use lots of water. And you want to use your palette so that you can see what color it is, so that you have a very light mixture of gray. All right, because you're looking for this soft look. Okay, so you don't want anything too dark. And I use the paper that I tore out with this one, because you have to tear these out in kind of in pairs, and sometimes I'll use that as my practice. So I'm going to see if I can do that. I want to make sure. Where did it go? Here it is. So I'm going to use this just to test it and make sure it's not too dark. So see, it's very light, and that's what we're going for. Okay, so we want a very light gray to go on our steeple. So we're just going to go in here with this really light gray. We want it because we want the words to be, we want them to be seen. So, and then once you get your first layer on, you can go ahead and add in a little bit of the darker on the side that you want the shadow to be. So I kind of want my shadow here. So that's where I'm going to add that. We're going to do the same thing with the bottom part. You're going to go in with that gray. And then, of course, you're going to have a little bit of a shadow right up underneath here. And we'll put some of that in there with the colored pencil too. So, but I want to add just a little bit of a gray shadow underneath there. Not too much. Okay. All right. Now let's let that dry. And remember, everything goes through an ugly phase first. Yesterday when I was practicing this one, I was like, oh my gosh, this is horrible. But by the time I got finished, it was super cute. So just remember, everything's going to kind of go through that ugly phase. All right. Now, this is the part where I really struggled trying to get a white out of this. So what I ended up doing was basically going in with a white watercolor. So I took my white watercolor and I went in with that first. And then later I came in with an oil pastel to brighten it up, okay? So the entire church I did with a white. And I hardly ever use white watercolor because you can't really, I mean, you can't really see it. But when you put the black pencil lines around this, it did kind of show up. But then I added a little bit of that white oil pastel, and that brightened it up too. So that's what I'm doing. Hey, Stacy Lee, how's it going? Good morning, good morning. How are you? All right, so we're going to go across the roof. Just know that we're just putting a base on right now, so this doesn't have to be super perfect. We just want to get a base down of the white color onto the walls and the roof. Okay. All right, so now we have the white on the church, the gray on the... Hey, Rhonda, how's it going? Yes, Stacy, it was beautiful. You did such a good job. Talia did a great job helping you with that. All right, so we have that. Now let's go back in with the door. And let's put a little bit of that gray on the door, the same gray that we used on the roof. Okay. Again, we're just getting a base, so let's go ahead and dry it up. All right. Okay, so now we have the base of the church done, okay? So now what we're going to do is we're going to go in and we're going to start putting in some shadows. Thank you for that heart, me. Thank you so very much. And Rhonda, thank you for sharing that out. Thank you for that rose, Stacy Lee. Thank you, thank you, thank you for all the wonderful things that you guys do on these lives for me. I appreciate that. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go in with our black pencil. So everybody go ahead and either grab a black pencil or an oil pastel or a black acrylic marker or anything that you can do shadows with. I am going to pull out my black pencil from my 72 color set. So this is the So Color set, and it's the black. And all I'm doing is going over my lines, and I'm just kind of scribbling them. I'm not making them straight and perfect, okay? And here, I'm just kind of scribbling in a shadow right there for the top of the church. Okay. Now, we can go in now with our black watercolor right up underneath this and kind of darken that shadow up. So put it in there, rinse your brush, and then dry it, and then just kind of darken that shadow up underneath there, or spread that shadow down. So now you have that faded kind of shadow look under that. Okay. So there's that. Now, dry that. And we're going to continue to move on to the roof. So we got the bell tower. And now we're going to do the roof right here. And you can see that as you put that black on, that white is now starting to kind of show. Like you can tell now that you have that white on there. But you don't want it to be perfect, okay? Just remember, this is about kind of an abstract. So just know that it doesn't have to be perfect. Now, you could pull out a gouache paint too if you wanted to, but remember, gouache is kind of opaque, so you're not going to be able to see the words through gouache unless you do it really, really thin. So that's the reason I chose to do the watercolor and then add the oil pastels later. So we're going to go ahead and go down your edges and across the roof. And across here. So we've got that. We have our door. And then over here is where we kind of are going to have that roof just kind of fading out. And I'm pressing pretty hard to get this darkness. And then we'll add in some oil pastel there and smear it over too. Okay, so that's our fade out of the rest of our church building. Okay. I know, wouldn't it be, Rhonda? This is a Mother's Day project, but you could definitely make it any kind of project you wanted, honestly. All right, I'm going to darken up the door with some black to make this a little bit darker through here before we put the shadow in. Because I want it to be see-through at the bottom, but the top is going to be pretty dark. So I want this to be a little bit darker right here. And I'm going to draw that. And then we're going to pull our oil pastels out in just a second, and we're going to work with those next. Hey, you can never go wrong with cash. All right. Now let's take and we're going to do some shadowing right here around the roof and up underneath the roof right here, kind of all the way down, and then right up underneath here as well. Okay, now I'm going to take my oil pastels. I'm using the Meeden oil pastels, so they look like this. Okay, I'm going to need the white. I'm going to need the black. I'm going to need a blue. I think probably this blue. A green. Maybe these two. And I think that's all for now. Oh, a brown. I'll need a brown. I'm going to go with this brown, maybe. Maybe this one. Okay. So, this is the 48 color set of Meeden's oil pastels. Yes, Rhonda, it was a black pencil. Yep. This was from my So Color set. My 72 color set. It's number 072. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to take our black oil pastel, probably a gray too. I'm going to put a gray out as well. We're going to take it and we're going to kind of darken up a little bit of this with it through here. And the great thing about these is you can kind of smear them with your fingers. I love getting messy with my fingers. Okay, so it's going to kind of smear them out. Like that. Okay, and now on the roof, what we're going to do is we're going to go a little bit with the gray here. Maybe put a little bit of black in there, but not much. And then the blue here, and then the gray. And we're just going to rub it in with our fingers. Or you can use like a baby wipe or, you know, whatever. Anything like that is fine. And the harder you press, the more textured it's going to be. So if you want it to be really textured, you can press really hard with these and get some texture in there as well. I'm going to fill that in a little bit darker with this pencil and smear it a little bit more with that oil pastel. And you're just going to work with it until you get it where you like it, okay? So it doesn't have to be exactly like mine, just however you want yours to look. Okay. All right. Now underneath here, I want this to have kind of a shadow as well. Okay, and then right here, we want and now I can take my watercolor and I can bring in that black and kind of fade it down. Sorry, I was out of screen. I am self-taught, Rhonda. Yeah, I did not go. I am by trade. I went to school to be an exercise physiologist and nutritionist. So my background is exercise physiology and nutrition. And I did that as a gymnastics coach for 35 years until I retired. So I am now just hanging out with you guys, but early on in my life, that's what I did. Okay, and then if you want it to fade a little bit more, you can put just a little bit there and just kind of drag that down. And it brings it into that faded look, so it's like shadowed. Now, as a gymnastics coach, we would do lots of different, thank you, Rhonda. We would do a lot of different like camps. We would do day camps that were themed, and we would do recitals and end of the year shows and meets and stuff, competitions that were themed. And so I always was the one who did all the decorations and painted everything and did all the different themed stuff, and I planned everything. So I would plan all of the themes out, and I would do all the decoration and all the crafts and all that kind of stuff. So that was a really fun part of my job. The not so fun part was being the owner of the gym and having to deal with all of the fires that had to be put out every day. But it had its perks because I could, you know, do what I wanted pretty much. All right, so now up underneath here, we're going to do that same thing. We're going to put some shadow in right here. And we'll do that same thing with the oil pastel right here. Put a little bit of oil there and just kind of drag it down. We want this to kind of be a rough look. We want it to be kind of, you know, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but we don't want it to be perfect. We want it to be smudged and, you know, kind of abstract, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Okay. So I'm just using my dirty finger to kind of just gray that out a little bit so it's not so white. Okay, let's see what else I think I need. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to come in to the background here, or the ground. We're going to just put some brown in here and just smear that with our fingers. And then we'll go in with the other color and do the same thing with this lighter color. I don't use oil pastels a ton, but when I want something, when I want to look like this, that's kind of rough and abstract, I use them because they smear and they blend with your finger really easily, and it makes for an interesting texture. All right, so we're going to go in with the green, like where we would have trees and bushes, and kind of put those in as well. Just kind of blend that out with the browns. And remember, it may look crazy. Just keep working with it until you get what you like. Okay. All right. And now what we're going to do, you could do it with chalk. Yes, Rhonda. You could do it with chalk. Yeah, vintage. That was the word I was looking for. Thank you, Rhonda. Oh, thank you. Thank you for saying that about me being a good teacher. I appreciate that. That's probably true. When you teach, oh, goodness. When you teach 3-year-olds how to do cartwheels for a living, you learn a lot of patience and you learn how to break things down and step by step, for sure. 100% it teaches you that. Okay. Sorry, I meant to put these up here and I did not. Let me just pin these. These are the oil pastels that I'm using, the Meet and Soft oil pastels. And honestly, they've been sold out for a while, so I was surprised they were back in stock. Okay. Okay. Now let's put in some flowers. You can do this with any color. I'm going to do it in white because, like I said, I want this to be minimalistic. But what you're going to do with that is you're just going to press really hard and just kind of lift up. And you get these little florals. They're kind of, you know, raised. So I'm going to put those wherever I feel like I want kind of some flowers to be. Okay, and then I'm going to take a green colored pencil, and I'm going to put that, let's see, where are you? I'm going to make this the stem. And I'm going to do that in like an olive green, I think. Or, no, let me see. What do I want to do? I'm going to do it in a dark green. And then I don't necessarily know that I want leaves on these, but I do kind of want, I think I'll do that with an acrylic marker. Let me pull out my acrylic marker, a dark green here. I don't want it to be too much though. I worry this is going to be too much. Let me see. Let me do this color. I think this will be better. This will be more subtle. I'm just going to kind of put some leaves on these. Honestly, I probably could have done the stem in these too to be even more subtle. That's a little bit better. It's not quite as, it doesn't stand out quite as much. Thank you, Stacy Lee. All right, let's go ahead and dry that. And you could play around with this for a very long time because honestly, you can keep adding, you know, shadows and florals, and you could do some windows if you wanted to, and you could fade things out more. You know, there's just so much you could do with this. So, you know, just get yours wherever you feel like you like it, and then we'll do wording next. Now, the lettering is what I'm going to be a little bit more concerned about because I'm not very good at lettering, as you can see from this example. But we are going to try it. And I'm going to sketch it out with my pencil first. And it's going to be L, let, and then T. Let. And what I want to do, I'm going to use my micron. No, I'm not. I'm going to use, what pen am I going to use to do this? Let me think. I don't want to use a brush pen. I think I'll use this one. This is the PN in the micron set. So it's kind of got this brush tip to it. And I can, but it's a hard brush tip, so it doesn't flatten out. So I can trace. And then I can thicken up my downstrokes with it. Okay, so there's let. Y'all, lettering stresses me out. Oh, okay. Hang on, I gotta move all these oil pastels back. Put them up because they're in my way. So give me just a second. Let me put them back so that I'm not messing up everything that I'm working on. Okay, and y'all have to go see, I posted a video this morning of the birthday card that I made for my sister because her birthday is today, and I didn't want to post it until today because I was hoping she'll get it in the mail on time today, but yay, Chris, I'm so glad. So y'all have to go see that video. It's just me turning it around. It's such a cute little card. I love how he turned out. It's a little donkey. So cute, y'all. Okay, so let's see. It's going to be, let me tell you about my Jesus. So let me... I don't know. I don't like that. This is why I hate lettering. I can never get it right. Let me see how ends look. I brought out my lettering book because I needed to look at the letters. And it has a whole alphabet in here. So I'm going to open it up and see. Let's see. I need to see how, okay, here's the M. This is what the M is going to look like. Okay. Sometimes I just have to look at an example before I can actually do them. So we're going to go with a loop right here and down. And then we're going to go up and down and up and down. And then the E. Let me, and then tell. T. Tell. Okay. Should we do you here or you start over? Let's see. Let me tell you about my, and then Jesus right here. Okay. I think we'll do you right here. I need to look at the Y. There's the Y. Okay. Okay, so we're going to go up, or we're going to go down, and a big circle, and then you, and then about. I wonder, if I should do a different font or if I should keep it all this cursive font. What do you guys think? You think we should do it all the same font, or do you think we should mix fonts like this, like mixing different fonts? I think we should keep it all the same. But I don't know. What do y'all think? I need some opinions. All the same, Stacey Lee? Okay. That makes it easier because, y'all, lettering stresses me so much. All right. I need to look at the B. See, I pulled this book out because I knew I was going to have to be lettering. And I knew I was going to need to look at what all the letters look like. So this is what the B looks like. Ginger says keep it the same. Rhonda says the same. Good. This is the B. Let's see. So we're going to go big. And then here. And O. U goes, doesn't go down. About. The T goes down. About. And then my goodness, my neighbors are making some noise. All right, and then we've got Jesus. Okay, let's see how the J looks. Okay, the J is going to be like this. And then the E, S, U, S. All right, so we have it drawn out. So now we can start kind of making this look like it's supposed to. All right. Again, I'm using this is the PN of the Micron Secura set, which is this set right here. All right. So we're just going to go over it first. Okay. Now this, even though this looks like a brush tip, it is not. This is solid. There's no bend or give to this tip at all. So you can't do brush, like pressing down and making your strokes wider and stuff with this one, like you can, I actually think like you can with this. Okay. But I'm not good with that. So I'm better if I am just filling in my downstrokes instead of pressing down and making them wide on their own. So I'm better at coloring them in. Okay, let me tell And these pens are waterproof, which is good too. Okay, let me tell you. Guys, you could get a page out of the hymnal that has like the word garden in it. And you could do florals. Would be so pretty. Gosh, there's just so much you could do, guys. This is a really great project and fun. And it makes a beautiful handmade gift, which is very nice because, you know, people like handmade gifts. You don't have to buy anything. You can just, I definitely, you know, like I'm not made of money, so it's hard for me to spend money on things that are not necessities, even as gifts, which I know sounds terrible, but I just don't have it. And I generally make gifts for everybody. Like my nieces and nephew always get handmade gifts for me for Christmas, and they look forward to it. Like they, you know, they know every year that they're going to get something that I've made them, and they love that. And I think it means more to them than, you know, anything I could buy in a store. They're grown. I mean, but I've been doing it. I've been making them gifts their whole life, even as kids. And they know that. And I think that it just makes it more special. Oh, that's sweet, Stacy Lee. So what you want to do when you're doing this faux lettering like this is you want to thicken up all of the down strokes. So wherever you have to, like when you're writing, wherever you bring your pen down, that's what you're wanting to thicken up. So anytime you've had to go down with your pen, then you're going to make that thicker. And when you go up, that's your thin strokes. So that makes it kind of look like, you know, faux calligraphy. Let me go ahead and erase all my extra pencil marks on this now that it's dry, so I can tell what that's going to look like. That looks good so far, I think. Does anybody else have lettering as their nemesis when it comes to their craftiness? Lettering is the hardest thing for me. And one of my goals this year was to get better at it. So I've been doing a lot of practice, and I just got Yep, I'm the same way, Stacy Lee. I just got a new lettering book. I just ordered, and it hasn't come in yet, but when it does, I'll show it to you guys. Because I really do. That's one of my goals this year, is to get better at lettering. My goal last year was to get better at drawing, which I feel like I have. I feel like I've improved a lot in my drawing skills. But, I mean, obviously I'm not where I want to be, but cool. Awesome, Stacy Lee. I'm definitely not where I want to be just yet, but I am getting there. So it is time now for me to improve my lettering. So that is what I'm working on this year. The two art goals I had this year were to get my studio organized and functional, which I'm really making progress on, and to improve my lettering. Thank you, Jamie. Yeah, that's how I am too, Stacy Lee. I practice every day. It's what it takes, though, if you want to get better. You guys hold me accountable, because if I'm not on here live, it's hard for me to practice. I tend to want to focus on like the orders that I have and not necessarily focus on improving on my skill set, and that is not good, because I will get more orders if I improve my skill set. So I need to practice more. So coming on here every day and painting live with you guys and getting kind of outside my comfort zone in the area of drawing and painting has really improved my skill set. And I attribute that to the fact that I have to show it for you guys every day, and that is great for me. It holds me accountable to practice. All right, there we are. Now, we can do like this one. All I did was just take like a little I kind of like this look. What do you guys think? I'm going to put this on here, back to here now that we're done with that. Thank you for the roses. Appreciate that, Jamie. Sassy Nana, thank you for sharing this live out. Y'all think we should do the edges like this? Or should we leave it like this? It's pretty either way, so. Y'all, my tummy's growling. I think I need some breakfast. I didn't eat breakfast this morning. I should have. Well, I say breakfast. It's almost noon now, but. You think edges, Ginger? Okay. All right. Hang on. Okay. Let me see if I can find my little. All right. So I just basically am. And then I just blow it out. Well, maybe if I can get it to light. be careful. This is your warning. You don't hurt yourself. You definitely do not want to let it catch for any length of time. You want to blow it out like right away. And then you just kind of do this and it flakes all that off. Yes, brunch, Carrie, for sure. You can see it gets messy on your fingers, so just know that. Like, you don't want to, you don't want to smudge your page with your hand. You want to be careful not to do that. You know, you can wipe your hands or whatever, but just make sure you know that it's going to make your fingers dark, so you don't want to mess up your page. Always have a fire extinguisher near when you do this. It's my warning. Me too, Stacey Lee. I would definitely meet you for lunch. Oops. I smeared my flour. That's all right. We can fix that in a minute. I forget if it gets hot, that oil pastel, if it gets hot, it'll melt. This just kind of takes a little bit of time is all. It's not hard. But again, always keep a fire extinguisher near you and be careful not to burn yourself. That's my disclaimer. There we go. All right, now we want to clean up this mess here before you set it down, because you don't want to accidentally mess it up. And I am going to just get a little bit of water from my water bottle here and clean my hands so that I don't mess it up before we look at it. Wipe off my desk. There we go. All right. There it is. What do you guys think? I think it turned out good. I don't know, though. I don't know which church I like better. I really like this church a lot. I think this one's kind of big, but it still looks good. But I like the lettering on this better than on this. I actually used a brush tip pen and tried to like freehand that, and it didn't turn out very well. So amazing. Thank you so much for sharing and teaching this day. You're welcome, Ginger. You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you, Carrie. Thank you, Stacey Lee. I think it turned out really good. I love it. I am going to be uploading this today because I have some people who really wanted to do this project with us, but they had some, conflict. They had a scheduling conflict. So I told them that I would get it uploaded in time for them to do it before Mother's Day. So just know that it will go up this afternoon. So if you missed it and you want the replay, it will be up this afternoon at some point. Also, I just got the orange downloaded, and that will also go up this afternoon. So we'll be caught up through the orange, and I will try to get the cherry downloaded today and get those up in the next day or two. Cool, Stacy Lee. I will love to see it. All right, let me fix my flower right here. I kind of messed those up. They got there. They got smeared. Now, before you put this behind glass, you might want to seal it because it is oil pastels, and these things, they can smear. So I would spray it down with a good sealer, just a clear coat, and then frame it. So that's how I would do this. I think, gosh, I just don't know which one I like the best. I mean, I hate the lettering on this, but the church I like. I really like that. But I also like this one. So, like I said, they never turn out the same. You just never know what you're going to end up with. And you could do all kinds of fun stuff with this. You could do a cross. I saw one that had, that was the old rugged cross, and it had a cross on a hillside that was really pretty. So you've just got, like, there's just a ton of different ones that you can do. So I hope you guys enjoyed today. Let's see. No, not Hairspray Ginger. Let me grab my sealer so I can show you what I have. Hang on one second. I'll grab it and show you. It is, let's see, out here, right here. I would not use a gloss. I would use a matte. Let's see. But all I can find right now is a gloss, but I do have a matte in this. So I use this 2x Rust-Oleum Clear. You can get it at Wally World. Or, you know, Lowe's or any place like that. But don't use gloss, though. Use a matte finish. I have a matte out there. I just didn't want to search through all my spray paints. And that'll seal it up. I mean, I'm sure they probably make some sort of sealer for oil pastels. I don't know what it is, but that sealer will work. Now, I'm sure that this is probably not UV, so over time it's going to yellow, I'm sure, whereas the art sealer won't. It'll have a UV protectant, but let's be honest, it's an old Hymnal. It can yellow some, and it's not going to hurt it. So, okay. Any questions on anything other than the sealer? Anything else that you guys have questions about? Gosh, we finished early today. That didn't take us long at all. Wow, normally it takes us a couple hours to do our tutorial. So maybe I'll do some swatching of my Lango pens, because I definitely need to get those finished. And I can answer any questions you guys have over the project that we did today, or anything else for that matter. Or we can just hang out while I'm swatching and visit. Speaking of, what are y'all's plans for Mother's Day? Does anybody have plans for Mother's Day? We decided, or our family, because it was me, my daughter, and my mom, and we all decided that we weren't going to do anything for Mother's Day. Normally somebody cooks and we all get together and all the things, but we all decided that we were just going to chill out, not do anything, relax, and enjoy our day. So we are not going to make any plans for Mother's Day. So, okay. So I'm going to put this up out of the way. You know what? That is Okay, so there is our projects for today. I think it turned out beautifully. What do y'all think? Look at that. Oh, so pretty. So imagine this in one of those floating frames. So like it's glass on both sides. You don't have a back to it. And it's right in the center with the glass all the way around it. Like about an inch or 2 inch glass border all the way around it. That is kind of how I see this being framed. I hope I can find one because I live in a small town and we don't have a lot of options here to shop. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to find a floating frame here in town. I'm going to have to look and see. Because I don't know that I'm going to be able to find one before Mother's Day. I may have to make a trip to Houston tomorrow. Oh, you know what? My grandson has a swim meet tomorrow in Kingwood, and they'll have a hobby, they'll have the craft store. I can't say the name. Did you print the paper out or was it from a songbook? No, it was from a songbook. It's from my, I have a Baptist hymnal that I got at Goodwill. And I got it for $1. And it was from the Zion Baptist Church Library in Skippers, Virginia. And I tore it out of there. That's what I you know, a lot of hymnal. I use hymnal pages for junk journaling and all of my art journaling and that kind of stuff. So yeah. But you could print it out. It makes sense to print it out. But then you would kind of have to age your paper too. So you might take, like you could dip it in, like if you printed it out, print it out on regular copy paper and then drop it into like some tea, like brown tea water, and just let it sit for a while and soak up that tea, and it'll age it, and then you can dry it out in the sun and that'll age it even more, and then it'll look old. So if you don't have, you know, a hymnal to choose from. Talia, I didn't think about that. I could have told you to do that so you would have had something for today to do because you were saying you wanted a hymnal. Yeah, Tracy, yep. I've had it pinned too for a while. That's why I wanted to do it. Everybody was wanting to do a Mother's Day project, so I thought this would be a great one for Mother's Day. It would be a nice little gift with in a floating frame with, you know, not a background, but glass on both sides. I think that'll be really pretty. All right. Let's see. I'm going to swatch my Lango pens. I'm going to continue to swatch those because I've been trying to get those swatched. Look at these beautiful colors of these. This set has got, uh-oh, I forgot to put my watercolor back in my palette. Let me do that. This Lango set has 90 different colors in it. So I've been working on getting them all swatched. And that's what I'm going to do next. Since it didn't take us the normal time. I'm usually on here for a couple of hours, and it only took us about an hour, a little over an hour to do that. So, had some printed out, but so Tracy, I found on the Zon ink for my printer that is waterproof. So now when I print things out, like when I do my fine art prints and all the different things, or if I print out one of my sketches to watercolor over, it won't smear. Bye, Ginger. I'll see you later. So yeah, let me see. Let me pull it. I'll show it to you. It is this right here, let me see, hang on. I think this is it. Let me make sure. It's called, well, I can't remember. Hang on. It's this. Yeah. So instead of getting, this is my ink. So this is what, this is the black and this is the color. This, I have a Canon printer. So, but it comes and it's, they make it for the Eco Tank too. So you just have to just type in, like when you're searching for it, search for water resistant printer ink and then type in whatever kind of ink your printer takes and it'll come up on there. And then when you print like sketches and stuff, because I scan all of my sketches and then I print them out, and sometimes I do watercolor over them and sometimes I leave them, you know, just black and white. But having that waterproof ink makes a difference. And it's not expensive. It's not any more expensive than the normal ink, which I thought was kind of strange. I figured it would be more expensive, but it's not. So, it's worth looking into. For sure. So if you are wanting, you know, if you're one of those, if you're like me and you like to print things out to paint, then you definitely, or mixed media like you were talking about, then yes, you can definitely do that. I use a Canon Pixma. I have an Epson sublimation printer, but my regular printer is a Canon Pixma 6820, and that's what I do all of my fine art prints and all of my sketching and things like that. I scan it on my Epson into my computer, and then I print it on my Canon. And it's water resistant, which is great. So, all right. Let me see. I think this, what is this? Let's see, 121. Not on here. That's right here. I haven't gotten the tips off of all these yet. These are the 0.7 millimeter tips. And they're retractable. And they're the Lango brands. They're super, super juicy. They're really good for a lot of different things. I use them to do like flowers and eyes and things like that on my watercolor. So like in our fruit series that we're working on right now, to do the eyes and to do the flowers, because they layer really good over watercolor. So this flower and these eyes, these flowers and the eyes, these eyes. So they work really well. They layer really well. I did the white lines on this were all the Lango pens, and then the eyes as well, and the tongue and the mouth. So they work really good to layer, and they're very, very juicy. So you don't have to fight with them. Like the ink flows really well, even though it's a small tip, it flows really well. And they're very opaque. So they cover up even black lines and stuff. So if you do coloring and you like to cover up your lines, you can cover them up with this, which is great. Somebody asked me yesterday about color by numbers, and these are great for that because you can cover up your lines. Ordered a 90-piece acrylic gel pen, but where do I get the swatches at? Is it this one? Is it this set? I got this swatch off of Schmetzy. I purchased it. Just type in Lango 90 color swatch sheet and it'll come up, and it was like $1.50 or something. I don't know. It wasn't much. So that's where I got this one. All right, 602. Let's see. 191. 196. I must be on the wrong. Must be in the wrong one here. 132. Nope. What happened to my pinks? All my pinks. And it comes with the guide. Let me show you. It comes with this too. So as you're coloring, you can kind of see what colors you're looking for. So like I know I'm looking right now, I'm looking for this light 602 pink. So I know it's going to be one of these, one of these lighter pink colors. I just don't know which one. Right here. This is the 602. So it helps me to find it also. It comes with both. It comes with the blank one for you to color, and it comes with the colored one for you to use as a guide. This set is really, really good. I love this set. I don't know. It had been sitting on a shelf for a while. When I got my second set of art drawers, I was like, now I have room to pull these out and put them in a drawer, and I can see them and use them. So I didn't use them for the longest time because they were up on a shelf in a box. And that is one of the things that I say all the time about these Meeden drawers is they have really helped me to use the things that I have in stock, because I didn't use a lot of my supplies because they were always in a box on a shelf. And now being able to just pull the drawer out like this, because see, these drawers come out. So I can just pull it out and pull it over and use it and then put them back. This has been, and I have two of these. I have this one and I have one over on this side of my desk too, with all of my different art supplies. And let me tell you, best thing I ever did was get these drawers, because I use them all the time. Like they just are great for using your supplies. I didn't realize how much of my supplies were just going to waste because I wasn't using them, and now that I have everything kind of organized, I use them. Like over on this side right here, I have my oil pastels, I have my paints, I have my gouache paints, I have my glitter pens, more glitter pens, my colored pencils, my grabby erasables, and my more glitter pens. I have a lot of glitter pens. Like, I don't need another glitter pen, but I guarantee you if I see a good set, I'm going to get it. All right. 603. This is 199. 197. 603. Uh-oh, I meant to put these up. I'm coloring with the light colors right now, so they're kind of hard to see. But they are very, very juicy. And they don't streak. They have a 0.7 millimeter tip, which is great because you can do a little fine detail work with that. As opposed to, you know, having those 1 millimeter tips that it's harder to get those fine details. So like I was coloring yesterday. Where's my coloring book that I was working on right here? This is what I've been working on. This page right here. And you can see I did the flowers and all of these highlights. As a matter of fact, this needs dots. All of these highlights and everything I did with these Lingo pens. This white highlight here I did with them as well. The flowers on the flower pot and on the coffee pot, or coffee cup, I did also with these pens. So these layer really well over alcohol markers, or over alcohol markers. So if you are into coloring like I am, also these grabby waterproof pens are great for the wood grain over the alcohol markers. So I love using these grabbies for that. And they go over it really well. I make knots with them. I don't know if you guys can see that. Can y'all see that? This makes a really pretty wood grain. And it's super easy too. You just make your little knots and then you connect the lines around them. Like that. And then if you want to, you can even go over it with like the brown Lingo to brighten that up a little bit more, that wood grain. So that's how I do that. I use these these pins to do all of these little, oh, and the lines in this blanket right here. So like these thin blue and orange lines in the plaid. I did the plaid with the alcohol markers, and then I added these smaller lines with these Lango pins to bring out that plaid a little bit more in that blanket or in that blanket. They actually will layer on top of themselves, which is nice. Because a lot of times when you have gel pens, they won't do that. They won't layer very well. That's right. Let's see. See what this is. 135. I need a light brown. What is this? 133. 136. None of these are what I'm looking for. Let's see. Nope. That's weird. Okay, 604. It's going to be a beige color. That's 603. I would think it would be this one, but that's 135. What is this one? 133. That is very odd. I don't know where it would be. All right, well, we're just going to have to go through them one at a time. 606. We'll do that one. Maybe 604 will turn up. See how opaque these are? They're really, really nice. Good morning, Rain. How are you? Yes, that's okay though. I will be uploading this as soon as I get off of here to my Tube of You. And you can catch the replay if you want. Let me show you what we did though. It turned out really, really pretty. Let me get it for you. I set it aside so it wouldn't get messed up. But this is what we did today as our Mother's Day project. What do you think of that? I think it turned out pretty, pretty, pretty. Isn't that pretty? I love it. So I'm going to have to find a frame for it now. But it didn't take us very long. It took us about an hour and 15 minutes. And I was like, well, I'm going to just sit here and do some swatching so that I can hang out for a little bit longer, because I'm normally on here till, noon or so. So I thought that I would at least be on for a couple of hours, because that's normally the case. So we were sitting here swatching these Lango pens, and I was talking about coloring and how you can use them over alcohol markers or for like the eyes and stuff that we've used and the flowers that we've used in our watercolor paintings for our fruit series, that we've been using them for that, and how buttery and creamy and juicy they are, because I love them so very much. Let's see, that's 603. Let's see, 602. 196. I know I have 604 here somewhere, y'all. I'm going to just have to pull them all out and look. No. 606 we just did. 193. 191. 604. Here it is. Thank you. Yeah, I think it turned out really pretty. So these have a 0.7 millimeter tip. They are good for layering over watercolors, as you can see here. They are also good for layering over alcohol markers, as you can see here. All the white highlights, all of the flowers you see on the flower pots, the lines that you see in the plaid blanket, and the flowers on the coffee cup are all this the Lango pens. This dirt right here, the speckles in the dirt, that is also the Lango pens. This highlight right here on the watering can is also the white Lango. So, so they layer really well over coloring pages as well, or over alcohol inks or alcohol markers. And they also layer really well over watercolor. You get 90 colors in this set, and there are 7mm tips. So they're a much smaller tip than the ZSCM. I have the ZSCM set. I love it. It is my favorite set. However, there are times when the tips on those ZSCM pens are too big. And mainly when I'm doing eyes, because in the eyes you have these little bitty areas that you need to fill. And if you use the ZSCM, that tip is just too big for that. So when I'm doing eyes like this on my watercolor, I like to use these smaller tips. And these are a loyal pen. They will show up. They will come out and they will be creamy and juicy. You're not going to get streaking with these. As you can see how solid all of these are as I swatch them. That's because they're very, very juicy. And we know that a good gel pen is nice and juicy. No, the colors don't repeat. No, they're all different. They're all different. And they're very, very nice. All right, so now we need to find the 609, which is going to be a darker brown. So let's see. 137. I bet it's this one. Nope. Nope. Here it is. I haven't taken the tips off of a lot of these, so swatching them makes me do that, which is good. And you can see, you can cover up the black lines really good. See how that just goes in one coat? It covered that black line up. So that is also good. Super juicy. Love these pens. If you don't have a good set of gel pens that you are in love with, then get this set, because you will be in love with it when you get it. And when you open up the box, the way that they're in the trays, they're so pretty and gorgeous, and it just brings you joy. Like, I had so much joy opening this box of pens. Kind of like when I got my ZSCM pens, because I love those too. But again, they're a 1mm tip, so they're a bigger tip. But they're retractable like these, which I love, because I don't have to keep up with the lid. When you're neurodivergent like I am, you don't want to have to keep up with lids, because that's just one more thing you have to worry about. All right, so now we're going to go to the 113, which is kind of a grayish color. So that's going to be in this box right here, I think. That's going to be these. Yep, 113 right here. And you don't have to shake these or anything. They're just ready to go right out of the box. Juicy, juicy, juicy. I gotta tell you, I really like sitting down and swatching a good pen set because it's super calming and relaxing. All right, that's the 113. Let's do the 114. That's the darker gray. Y'all hear my birds? That is not on my music. That is outside of my studio window. They're there every morning. And everybody always says, I thought that was on the music, but it's not. That's my birds chirping outside. That's one thing about living in the middle of the woods like we do. You get lots of wildlife. Some that you don't necessarily want, but the birds are a welcomed addition. I like listening to them. All right, that's 114. Let's do 116. That's probably going to be the darker version. Yep, right here. We'll finish up this little section, and then I'll probably hop off and go make me some lunch. I might come on later this afternoon and color a little bit in my coloring book. I'm not a very good colorer compared to all the people that I see online coloring, but I have fun with it. Tomorrow, I'm not sure when I'll be on tomorrow. I will be on at some point, but I'm not sure when. It'll probably be tomorrow afternoon at like, mid-afternoon, maybe 2-ish. And we're going to do the peach in our fruit series. So if you've been doing this series with me, with all the fruit, we'll be doing that tomorrow. Probably around 2, if I had to guess. I'm not sure, though. So I don't want to say for sure, but I'm gonna say that that's my plan. But Saturdays can be crazy for me, so I don't know that I will stick to that plan, but that's the plan as of right now. So, all right, B117 is the black. And you can see these don't streak. I mean, they cover really well. Because they are very, very juicy. And also, guys, they write really well. So if you like to do journaling and you write in cursive, you don't have to worry about them streaking when you write. They do really well with a good, fast, cursive hand. A lot of times when you do cursive with gel pens, they skip or they streak, but these do not. They write really, really well. So they're good for journaling. I show you on here. So see, you don't get any kind of streaking or skipping or anything with these. They're really, really juicy, but also you have to let them dry, because if you don't, See what happens? So, because they're an acrylic ink, so you want to make sure that they dry. But once they're dry, you can see they don't smear, but you have to let them dry. It's very important. I found that out the hard way. So, that is the next set. Next section in this 90 color set. They're all really pretty colors. And again, I use them for doing my flowers and highlights and things like that on all of my coloring books. So these lines in the plaid I did with those, the flowers on the coffee cup I did, all the white highlights I did with this set. And then I also use them for the eyes and the details on all of my watercolors. And the flower, this flower right here I did with the Lango pens. And the eyes, and this flower, and these flowers. So they cover, they overlay really well. They have an upgraded ink in them that helps them to be able to also layer on top of each other. As you can see here, where I put the white highlights on top. You just want to make sure it's dry before you try to layer them. But once it's dry, you can see they layer really well on top of each other, which is nice. All right. Okay, guys, I'm going to hop off of here and go make me some lunch. And like I said, I might come on later. I just don't know for sure. And I am going to see y'all tomorrow, probably around 2 or so. That's what I'm thinking. I can't make any promises, but I will probably be on tomorrow about 2. So I will see you guys then. And until then, you guys take care of yourselves and each other. And I will see you when I see you. All right. Thanks for hanging out. This was our tutorial today. And it came out really well. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me and joining me today. I will see you guys later. Bye. Ciao, Rain.